Hi, I'm Kat Edel from the Dyscalculia Network, and I'm pleased to welcome Peter Cherry back, who's been talking to us about dyscalculia and maths difficulties and maths anxiety, which is a topic very close to his heart and ours. Hi, Peter.
Hi again, Kat.
Hi. So today we're going to talk a little bit about maths anxiety you've experienced as an adult. In the first part, if anyone would like to catch up with it and hasn't so far, we talked about Peter's experiences as a child and teenager. So what level of education have you got at the moment, and how has maths anxiety impacted this?
Yeah, so I got a PhD actually in comparative literature, and I definitely think maths actually has influenced that and my experience of maths anxiety. I think on one level, I think, you know, as I talked about in the last interview, that kind of experience of kind of going from the kind of top set in English to the kind of special educational needs area in maths. I think I had a kind of desire to sort of prove to myself that I could, you know, get the highest qualification possible. But also in the kind of research questions that I was interested in my PhD, not to kind of go too far into it, but I've always been drawn to kind of issues of kind of outsiderness, otherness, you know, feeling characters that don't feel they quite fit in. And that was, you know, essentially a big component of my PhD. So I think in those ways, I've definitely kind of filtered in some of my feelings into what I did. So yeah.
That's really interesting, in a very positive way, in a way, by helping you deal with it yourself.
Thanks. Yeah. And I mean, I try also to bring some of that to my own teaching as well, which I'm sure we'll come to soon.
Yeah. So as an adult, how do you feel about maths, you know, in day-to-day life?
Well, yeah, it's an interesting question, because for a long time, I have to say, so I'm sort of you know, edging towards mid-30s now, possibly in mid-30s, depending on where you draw the boundary. For a long time, actually, maths didn't really come up that much. You know, I certainly, a lot of my adult friends, just didn't even tell them that I had dyscalculia or dyspraxia at all. So for most of my life, calculators, you know, I've used calculators, phones also have calculators on. There have been moments when I felt nervous as an adult where I definitely remember doing the whole, like, I'm just going to go to the toilet as the bill comes, and then calculating, and then going and being like, oh yeah, by the way, I owe this amount of money. That's definitely happened. But in the last year or so, it's really come back with a vengeance, and it has been quite difficult to deal with. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, let's talk about that. So why, particularly in the last year, has this sort of reared its head as an issue for you again?
Yeah, so again, kind of context, slightly unrelated, but I'll get to the point quickly, is so yeah, the kind of situation in universities and jobs in universities is quite bleak at the moment, and there just aren't many jobs around. So I had been teaching actually in a university in Turkey after my PhD, and I had been applying to lots of jobs in the UK particularly, but also to other countries, and just really hadn't been getting very far at all. So amidst the pandemic, I really realized, okay, I need to kind of retrain, diversify into other fields. And the natural one for me seemed to be teaching, because I do really enjoy teaching. I have a lot of experience in it. I've also taught English as a second language as well, so I have that experience alongside the academic experience. And anyway, I applied for a GCSE as a secondary school teacher, actually, in teaching English, obviously not maths, and it all seems to be going very, very well. The interview went extremely well, but I didn't actually leave my secondary school with a C in maths, an A to C. I got an E at GCSE maths, which I have to say, just as a personal point, about a year ago, that was very, very difficult for me to say. So that's a kind of progress, a personal progress, to be on camera saying that. Yeah, so I didn't get this GCSE maths, and the universities I applied to, all of them were very nice. I mean, it's nothing to do with them, but they just came back and said, unfortunately, we cannot offer you a place because you don't have a GCSE in maths, and government regulations are that you have to have A to C in GCSE English and A to C in GCSE maths in order to go onto a PGC program. To be honest, I think I displayed some behavior when this kind of information came in, which could be comparable to a kind of mini breakdown in some ways. I really suffered quite a lot. I started to feel that, you know, my self-esteem, everything was just in the gutter, really. And I just felt miserable because I just felt like, what am I going to do? I need to do a GCSE maths, and, you know, I can't do it, basically. And I had this. So I tried, but I put a brave face on it, and I tried to do the maths equivalency test. I gave myself essentially 3 months to do it in. I found a fantastic tutor, by the way, really great tutor, but 3 months was just not long enough. And I really struggled, and I unfortunately didn't make the right grade, so I couldn't get onto that PGCE program. So then after that, I've subsequently found that, so I'm currently actually unemployed, and I've been applying for lots of different jobs. And despite, you know, having like a PhD and like this experience teaching English as a second language and experience teaching in universities, I'm finding more and more jobs are coming back and saying, I'm sorry, you don't have this GCSE in maths. So it really has held me back. And what upsets me quite a lot is that when you say, well, I have dyscalculia, the faces are just blank, you know, they're just blank. Nobody knows what you're talking about. So yeah, I mean, at the moment, I'm now resitting a GCSE maths, and I'm very happy with the place I'm doing it in and with the tutors, but it is a real concern for me that if I do not get this GCSE maths next year, maybe I won't be able to get onto a PGCE, and then I just really don't know what I should be doing with my life and career. So it's really holding me back. I've written to my local MP recently, actually, to try and see if there's any paths that I have to kind of challenge if I don't make this GCSE maths. But yeah, it is really quite anxiety inducing, really. So yeah.
I'm sure. Thank you for sharing that with us, because I know it's a very personal journey that you've been on. And having chatted to you before the interview, you know, you're clearly such an intelligent person who'd make an amazing teacher. And I think we all feel when people have a diagnosis of dyscalculia that this needs to be better recognised and understood, and to give you the opportunities that you deserve in order to be the English teacher that you're clearly perfectly capable and will be brilliant at.
Thanks. I mean, talking about, you know, how this has also affected me, it has, you know, I've been reflecting a lot on this, and I'm thinking more and more about how actually I'd be quite interested in actually moving into adult education and teaching people like myself, but on the English side, obviously, because that's I didn't realize it was a fire alarm practice. So anyway, fine. But no, I've been thinking more and more about how I would like to help people in my situation who have who've had to go through this, had this anxiety, and are just trying to get their lives back on track, you know, on the English side. So yeah, it has impacted me that way. So yeah, there are positives to take from it, definitely.
Yeah. Absolutely. What would you tell a young person or their family who's currently struggling with maths anxiety, maybe a young child or a teenager? What would you say to them now in retrospect?
I mean, it sounds a bit trite, perhaps, but really just the difficulty doesn't define you, you know? When I was young, I used to feel, you know, it was such a big thing, having this maths anxiety, and just feeling that I'd somehow failed or I was going to fail. And I think the most important thing for someone that has this to realize is that this doesn't define you. This is just one aspect of you. You have many other strengths, so much to give any situation you're in. And yeah, and just to be able to speak to people as well, and have like supportive people around. I mean, I think when I was younger, I felt so nervous about it, I didn't tell many people, but I told I had a Zoom call with my best friend, I guess, over this once, when it was the first person I really told that I didn't get this C in GCSE maths. And I was found it very, very difficult to kind of say it, but he was really accepting and really supportive, and I think that made a huge difference to me. So I think surrounding yourself with people who are supportive and realizing that this doesn't define you, and yeah, and also I think if you do have the resources, like getting a good tutor, I think is also helpful, which is why I think, you know, the Dyscalculia network is doing really great stuff.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, Peter, and sharing your story. I'm sure it will help a lot of people who are on their journey to understanding their maths anxiety and dealing with it, and help them a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much.